The movie is set in the year 3000 AD, where a deadly species of humanoid aliens known as the Psychlos have taken control over the Earth. In fact, it has been a millennium since the Earth was taken over. Almost all of the villages and cities worldwide are decimated, and humans have become a rare species now. They are either enslaved by the Psychlos, or live in caves as isolated tribes. Psychlos have also taken all the valuable resources from the planet, and now they are in search of gold. As for the remaining humans living in caves, they have lost all hope of regaining their control over Earth. At the start of the movie, a tribesman named Jonnie arrives home with medicine for his ill father, but he realizes that it's too late. Devastated, he approaches their group's leader and suggests they shift their location to a new place, as food and water supply is running out quickly. Here, we get to know that the tribe's people have been living in the cave for almost 2 centuries, and they have never seen the outside world. They know that danger lies ahead, but don't know exactly what it is. As a result, the leader refuses to shift their location, fearing that they will be attacked by the gods. Hearing this, Jonnie, who is an atheist, becomes angry and decides to find a new settlement area by himself. He then gets on his horse and starts his journey. On his way out, his girlfriend, Chrissy, tries to stop him, but Jonnie defies her request and rides away. After a few hours of traveling, Jonnie reaches a green forest and decides to explore. When he comes across some man-made statues, he mistakes them for aliens and gets scared. But when he checks them closely, he gets to know that they're just artifacts. Just then, Jonnie is confronted by a couple of hunters, Carlo and Rock, who are surprised to see another human. Carlo tells Jonnie that he should thank God for keeping him alive, but Jonnie, being a non-believer, says no. Instead, he offers them some food, if they can show him the evidence of God's existence. The 2 hunters gladly agree and take Jonnie around the city's ruins to show him other statues. They claim that the statues were once human until they were punished by God for their wrong deeds. Later at night, the 3 set their camp inside a dilapidated building and start eating. As the 3 share stories of their village, a Psychlos alien arrives there and attacks them. The humans try their best to escape, but they are eventually caught and locked inside a cage. Jonnie looks around and notices other humans like them inside the cage. Soon, the group is transported to the aliens' base in Denver, Colorado. Since the aliens cannot breathe properly in Earth's atmosphere, they have built a massive dome to adjust the atmosphere as their home planet. As a result, every human entering there should wear a pipe-like device around their nose to be able to breathe. And it is just the opposite for the Psychlos. They need to wear those pipes whenever they leave their base. As soon as the group lands, Carlo tries to escape, but an alien shoots him down with his gun. Seeing this, Jonnie snatches the weapon and takes one of them down. He also tries to run away and even manages to reach far, but sadly gets caught by the security head of the base, Turl. Turl drags Jonnie to the place where he shot the alien and asks everyone how a human can operate a gun. It turns out that the Psychlos look upon humans as a dumb species who cannot operate any complex machinery. To confirm his doubts, Turl hands over a gun to Jonnie and asks him to shoot another guard, and surprisingly, he does it again. This leaves Turl stunned. Perhaps the dumb one is the guy who just armed his opponent. In the next scene, Zeet, a senior officer from the Psychlos' home planet, teleports himself to the Earth to conduct an important meeting with the Earth officials. Turl is excited to end his tenure of service on Earth and proposes to return to his home planet. He also mentions that his assistant Kerr is eager to take his place. However, Zeet informs him that the company has decided to keep Turl on Earth for the next 50 cycles. Not only that, he has to start extracting the remaining gold from Earth as soon as possible. Unsurprisingly, Turl is angry about the decision, but he can do nothing more than remain silent. On the other hand, the captured humans are locked inside a cell and are treated like slaves. They are then served with gooey green food. Floyd, one of the bullies inside the cell, threatens everyone that he and his gang will have the food first, and if anything remains, the others can have it. However, Jonnie, who is already sick of being controlled by others, decides to revolt. Soon, a fight breaks out between the two, and Jonnie emerges victorious. He then declares that everyone can have their food in equal proportion, and dismisses the idea of a hierarchy. Meanwhile, Turl goes to meet his assistant Kerr, and finds him hiding an important file. Curious, he asks about it, and the latter replies that the file contains pictures of a place from which they can extract gold, but they will not be able to invade the place because their breathing pipes won't work there. Hearing this, Turl becomes angry and accuses Kerr of trying to steal the gold all by himself. After punishing his assistant, he then devises a plan where where the human slaves will extract the gold for them. Later, he approaches their senior officer, Planet Ship, and proposes the idea to him. However, the latter immediately refuses, claiming that it is a violation of their company's rules. The next day, when the humans are being transported to their workplace, Jonnie again tries to escape, but just like the last time, he is caught. As a punishment, the aliens remove Jonnie's breathing device and leave him to die. Fortunately, one of the human slaves notices him and saves his life. Meanwhile, Turl and Kerr plan about training humans and using them to extract the gold without their company knowing about it. Elsewhere, Jonnie arrives at the end of the Psychlos base, but finds the exit door locked. To make matters worse, 2 Psychlos officers arrive and confront him. Turl and Kerr also enter the fray, and seeing Jonnie's anger and energy, they decide to let him go out and learn more about humans for the sake of their evil plan. That evening, they set Jonnie and 2 other humans free with cameras on their jackets. Later, the trio starts walking away from the base, believing that they are now free. They walk for some time in the freezing weather and decide to rest in a destroyed building. For food, they hunt some rats and eat them raw. All this time, Turl and Kerr are keeping an eye on them with the cameras. Unfortunately for them, the boys also discover the cameras in their jackets and remove them immediately. As a result, Turl sends his men to catch Jonnie and the others. A chase ensues for a while, but the humans are eventually captured and brought back to the base. At least they got to eat rat while they were out. Following this, an enraged Turl takes Jonnie inside a secret room, ties him to a chair, and uses an advanced machine to impart the Psychlos' knowledge into him. It turns out that Turl is doing all this so that Jonnie can learn their language and be able to extract gold on his own. The plan works, and unbeknownst to Turl, he learns several things, like how to use weapons, how to fly aircrafts, the history of the Psychlos, and so on. Later at night, Jonnie tries to share his Psychlos knowledge with other humans, explaining that they can use it to destroy the aliens once and for all. But as expected, none of them can understand anything. Despite this, Jonnie declares that one day humans will overthrow the Psychlos and retake their planet. Elsewhere, as Jonnie has not returned home for a couple of days, his wife from the tribe, Chrissy, sets off in search of him. The next day, an impatient Turl brings Jonnie to his room and inquires about what he has learned so far. Surprisingly, the human replies in Psychlos language, which makes Turl surprised and happy at the same time. He then takes Jonnie to the ruined public library of Denver and boasts that in early 21st century, the Psychlos conquered all of Earth in a mere 9 minutes. As Jonnie reads a book, he comes across the topic independence and becomes more focused on liberating Earth from the aliens. He then agrees to extract gold, but in return demands the safety of other humans inside the dome. Turl complies to his demands and soon takes Jonnie and several other humans to the mining location. Unfortunately, while Turl is briefing the group about the mining process, another tribe of humans appears out of nowhere and attacks the aliens. Turl is immediately subdued, and Jonnie gets the chance to kill him, but he doesn't. He stops the tribe and explains that if they kill Turl, the other humans inside their base will also get killed. Later, Turl takes Jonnie away and reveals that they have captured Chrissy. He identified her as Jonnie's lover by finding his picture in her possession. The terrified girl is wearing a device around her neck that can be blown up by the push of a button. Seeing this, a devastated Jonnie vows to carry out his duties with more seriousness. At night, back to the cage, Jonnie talks with the human group and assures them that he knows the language of the Psychlos and is making a plan to eradicate them from Earth. He then delivers a motivational speech, prompting everyone to pledge their alliances to him. Meanwhile, Turl and Kerr meet a female Psychlos and secretly trade some information about Planet Ship's accounts. After studying the information, Turl gets to know that Planet Ship has been falsely reporting to their seniors that their operations on Earth have yielded a loss. He does this so that he can keep the profit for himself. Using this as leverage, Turl blackmails Planet Ship and makes him sign an agreement to allow the use of humans for gold mining. Now, with Planet Ship out of the way, he starts teaching Jonnie how to fly their ship and use their weapons. In the next scene, Turl takes the group to the mining site and starts giving them instructions. He mentions that he will return after 14 days, and by that time, they must have mined half of the gold present there. After Turl leaves, Jonnie tells the group that they do not need to mine gold, as there is already enough present inside a nearby fort. It turns out that Jonnie studied about Fort Knox before he arrived on the mission. He also explains that they need to finish off the aliens and destroy their home planet so that Earth will never be captured again. After 14 days, Jonnie presents the gold bars to Turl, which they have retrieved from Fort Knox. At first, Turl is skeptical, as the gold is in the form of bars, but when he checks thoroughly, he approves. He then orders Jonnie to mine the rest of the gold in 7 days. Later, using the Psychlos transportation ship, Jonnie takes his crew to the US military fort in Texas and starts gathering the weapons present there. Inside the fort, they also find fighter jets and a nuclear bomb. Jonnie tries to activate the bomb, but fails due to the lack of knowledge. Just then, one of the humans, Mickey, turns on a projector, displaying the information about the nuclear bomb's activation. Realizing that the bomb is the perfect weapon to destroy the Psychlos' planet, Jonnie decides to use it. The plan is to enter the aliens' teleportation device, reach their planet, and destroy it with the nuclear bomb. But just then, Mickey tells everyone that he wants to do it instead, as Jonnie has to lead the revolution on Earth. After returning to the base, Jonnie approaches Kerr and provokes him. He reveals that Turl is planning to fly away to his home planet with all of the gold. Surprisingly, Kerr believes it, and Jonnie puts forward a deal. He proposes that he will help Kerr get rid of Turl, but in return, all of the humans should be freed. Obliging to the deal, Kerr releases all the humans, and Jonnie is finally reconciled with his lover, Chrissy. Unfortunately, after a while, Turl gets wind of his assistant's betrayal and blows off one of his hands as punishment. Before leaving, he also orders Kerr to manage the teleportation device for his departure to the home planet. On the other hand, the humans are getting ready for the attack. Carlo, who has been instrumental in their preparations, is seen with some explosives. He constantly tries to contact Jonnie for permission to fire, but fails. His situation turns even worse when some alien warships surround him. It appears as if Carlo is doomed, but just then, other humans arrive with fighter planes, which they had retrieved from Fort Knox. With this, a brutal fight ensues between the two parties. On the ground, the humans and Psychlos fight with their weapons, while in the air, the warships and fighter jets tussle. Amidst the chaos, Jonnie leads Mickey and the nuclear bomb to the control room, where the teleportation device is present. After a bit of a struggle, he successfully reboots the device and signals Carlo to attack the dome. The latter obliges and detonates a number of explosives at the dome. Unfortunately, even all the firepower is unable to destroy the glass surrounding the dome. Frustrated for failing in his first attempt, Carlo boards an alien warship and decides to strike the dome. His plan, however, fails terribly when he gets stuck into the glass frame. Now, with time running out, and the Psychlos slowly gaining an upper hand in the battle, Carlo starts looking desperately for a way out. Fortunately, he finds some explosives inside the ship and gets an idea. He picks up a missile launcher and blows up the warship in the name of Earth, even if it costs him his life. This results in a huge explosion, and the alien's dome starts crumbling down to the ground, making it difficult for the Psychlos to breathe. Despite this, Turl finds Jonnie inside the control room and apprehends him. He then orders his army to kill every human on sight. Just then, Jonnie attacks Turl and secretly locks the weapon that he took off from Chrissy's neck earlier. He then pleads with Turl for his wife's life and instigates him in detonating the weapon. Turl falls into the trap and activates the weapon, blowing off his own hand. By this time, the teleportation device is already activated, and Mickey and the nuclear bomb are transported to the Psychlos home planet. As soon as he reaches there, he detonates the nuclear bomb, engulfing the whole planet and also sacrificing himself in the process. The next morning on Earth, the remaining humans have finally become free from the tyrannical rule of the Psychlos. Cut to several months later. Although humans have retaken the Earth, mankind still faces a precarious future. They still fear that the Psychlos living on other planets can launch an attack. It turns out that the Psychlos have been the dominant species across multiple universes for at least 100,000 years, and this is the first time they were defeated. Hard to believe given how stupid they are. As the movie ends, we are shown that Turl is held captive inside Fort Knox, while Kerr has joined the humans as a scientist.